and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Kira, final story. What is going on?
Okay, so you know, this weekend. I think it's Saturday. Will be the 20th anniversary since September 11th. So I thought that this was a story that made a lot of sense to talk about today. Since the fall of the World Trade Center, the security apparatus born from the September 11th attack on New York has fundamentally changed the way the country's largest police department operates, altering its approach to finding and foiling terror threats, but also to cracking minor cases. New Yorkers simply going about their daily lives routinely encounter post 9/11 digital surveillance tools like facial recognition software, license plate readers, or get this, mobile X-ray vans that can see through car doors. Surveillance drones hover about mass demonstrations, and protesters say they've been questioned by anti-terrorism officers after marches. The department's intelligence division, redesigned in 2002 to confront Al-Qaeda operatives, now uses anti-terror tactics to fight gang violence and street crime. So we're using the technology for terrorism, and shocker, surprise, we're turning it around on American citizens. The government has been using surveillance technology since the 90s. But policing technology has been advancing along with the world at large, as you can expect that it would. And the police have long used surveillance cameras to find suspects caught on video, publicizing images of people and asking the public for help identifying them. But both supporters and critics of this monster shift say it's almost impossible to overstate how profoundly the attacks changed American policing. The police department has poured resources into expanding its surveillance capabilities. The department's budget for intelligence and counterterrorism has more than quadrupled, spending more than $3 billion since 2006. And we're talking about the New York Police Department. And more through funding streams that are difficult to quantify, including federal grants and secretive police foundations. So not only $3 billion, but also other funds from other donors. And that police foundation is a nonprofit that funnels money and equipment to the department from benefactors and donors. Current and former police officials say the tools have been effective in thwarting dozens of would-be attacks. And the department has an obligation, they say, to repurpose its counterterrorism tools for everyday crime fighting. It's what everybody wants us to be doing, says John Miller.
Really pop in and just make a point of every time I hear the police say that all these counter terrorism stuff that or whatever it is have been working really well, they always say it's helped us in several cases, and I never see a footnote. I don't know.
Right. I mean, actually, it would be great to specify those. I would like to hear of the work that is going into the policing, but I guess they don't want to brag about how well they're doing.
Well, the police are very humble people, you know this.
They are very humble. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So instead of just he says, John Miller, this deputy commissioner of the police department's intelligence and counterterrorism bureau, says instead of just saying, well, these were for counterterrorism, so if it's not a bombing, we're not going to use them. I'm sorry you got mugged. Problem with that is if you actually look at the numbers of cases that the police solve in the United States, it's dismally low. So I love how they're pretending like they give a shit that people got mugged. I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's already there. You know what? I'm going to say this. I have about as much confidence that YouTube will not pick it up as I do cops not picking up on those muggings.
There you go. Well, don't even get me started on the amounts of rapes they actually solve. But others say the prevalence of the department's technological arsenal subjects ordinary New Yorkers to near constant surveillance, a burden that falls more heavily on people of color. According to one estimate from a recent analysis by Amnesty International, that was shared with the New York Times, a person attending a protest march between Washington Square Park and 6th Avenue is likely to be surveilled by the police cameras for 80% of that march. Wild. So I've always wanted
beat someone up.
Right.
Well, and then the police beat someone up, and they're like, "We have no footage of it. We're really sorry." Also, it turns out after you sued us, we had the footage, but I don't know, the audio got scrubbed, so we can't make out what they were saying. Sorry.
And then that footage all of a sudden reappears, you know, when there's some sort of facial recognition that pinpoints you with some other crime that they can now, you know, say, you know, it wouldn't be pinned on you if it was you, but you know.
Oh, look, we didn't do it, but we happened to find 3.5 years ago that you bumped into a window and broke it, and the owner reported that as a thing, and we just happened to connect you. So shut up now.
That's exactly right, and that's really what there is to fear. So I've always wanted to toss to a video of myself. So I found a chance inside of this story. So this is a report I did last year about the surveillance industrial complex, which is what I'm calling it, which is basically like big business in surveillance. So Faze, do you want to go ahead and play that video?
I hear it's really good.
It's so good.
I'm more concerned about the NYPD attack robot dog by Boston Dynamics that the NYPD is still using. That is something that concerns me too, because again, it's just we're living in a cartoon, a dark dystopian nightmare. It's Fahrenheit 451, folks, and beware of the thought police too.
Isn't it just like the funniest thing on the planet that the police don't do anything, they can't solve anything, and they're like, but if we do away with all your rights, which we promise we won't take advantage of, we'll do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, what is actually frightening about this is that, you know, you'll hear, I mean, you'll even hear people in media say like, this is not going to impact your average person, all of those things. But it does definitely impact folks who are joining those kinds of marches, who are pushing against the powerful systems. And when everything we do is on camera and being surveilled, just saying, there's a higher chance that, you know, political enemies can wind up on trial and jail, paying steep, hefty fines, and then all of a sudden that activism work isn't that important anymore. If it has to come against your well-being and your safety, and so that is the real concern.
It's also crazy that this all ties right back to even Afghanistan. The U.S. has one plan for taking things down. The U.S. only has the ability, in a global scale, local scale, whatever, of dismantling complex organizations, which is what we did in World War II. We were very successful. We continue to be immensely successful at tearing apart complex organizations. We just fail at everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have that video set up, Faze?
I take it now. Today is not my day to throw to a video of myself.
I believe it'll be ready now.
Wow.
What?
Nice work,
all right, let's go play this video.
As for let me restart that. As for jamming communications domestically, Dakota Access Pipeline protesters at Standing Rock, North Dakota in 2016 described planes and helicopters flying overhead that they believed were using technology to jam their mobile phones. Protesters described having problems such as phones crashing, live streams being interrupted, and issues uploading videos and other posts to social media, which is a really big deal in the world of activism, you know, because you want those communications to go out, and you especially want the greater population to know what's going on, because obviously not everybody can be there. And the whole point of activism is to really grab the attention of the public. You know, so when they're blocking communications through social media, that's a big issue. Protesters around the country marching against police brutality and in support of Black Lives Matter have spotted the same kind of thing, a recurring presence in the skies, mysterious planes and helicopters hovering overhead, apparently conducting surveillance on protesters. So I'm going to pause here.
And you can actually stop it right there, Faith. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously this has been going on for a long time. Again, since the 90s, police have been surveilling, but only recently with the adaptation of all of this terrorism grade level, you know, technology and tools, are they turning it around on your average citizen who is merely working to make this country livable and workable for everybody.
I think we should make a wonderful compromise with these people that are oh so trustworthy with the law. We're going to do a test of all these systems, but the subjects of the test can only be people that make above $1 million a year. And we'll just see how it works out if there's political will for this thing to happen going forward.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We want your volunteer service. All right, fantastic job recording this and actually talking about this, Kira, and bringing up corporations behaving badly as well. Fantastic work.
Woo, that was such a good show.
I know. We all miss it. We all miss it so much. So
yeah.
outstanding work. I want to end this segment here.